Internet, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Unpopular Culture, and today, cool bit of tech news. The HTC Vive VR headset, which is Steam's answer to VR, is dropping its price by $200.
Making it $600, which sounds like a pretty penny, but consider what it includes.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It comes with the headset itself, comes with the two motion controllers, which are, by the way, in my opinion, the best motion controllers out there right now for that sort of gaming. It comes with the sensors and everything that actually let you do the room scale VR, and I believe it also comes with a subscription to the service.
Explain the sensors real quick to the...
Oh, okay, sure. For those of you who don't follow VR or don't know that much about it outside of it's a thing where you wear the glasses and it looks like you're in a video game, there are different kinds. There's stuff that does head tracking, like the PlayStation VR, and that tracks sort of your head position, so you can lean back and forward and left and right, and that probably sounded weird, sorry. But if you were to walk around, it wouldn't do anything. It would do a little bit as far as your head tracking, but there is sort of a small area of where you can move, and your legs stay planted. Does that make sense? In the game world, you are where you are, your head can move around that pivot point.
Right.
HTC Vive, their room scale VR, it's different in that there are sensors that will actually track when you start walking around, so you're no longer pinned to a point. You can actually traverse the room within square footage.
Can you walk into your wall, though?
No, the way it works, I've seen actually how the setup works. You use one of the, again, very cool motion controllers that they have, very precise, and basically they say in the setup process, okay, outline your room, because they have a pass-through thing. There's a camera on the front, so there are times when you can see through.
Gotcha.
So then you basically make an outline with your arm saying this is where the walls are, and it will stop you before you hit a wall, basically.
Smart.
Yes, very smart.
Also, I know that this isn't a shipped thing. I don't think you can do it, but they are coming up with platforms that basically it's a treadmill that is like universal, so it goes every way when you walk.
Yeah.
But I think that needed harnesses there, so you can maintain the right amount of friction on it to make it move instead of you walking off of it.
There are two solutions for that as of right now that I'm aware of. There's the omnidirectional treadmill, which is sort of what you're talking about, but it's incredibly expensive and probably not going to be...
You put like a waist thing on, and then there's bars connected to your waist.
That's the second thing. The first thing is the omnidirectional treadmill, which is probably going to be more an arcade-level solution if you have like a commercial quality VR or something.
Right. For
home solutions for that, there's something similar, but instead of a treadmill, it's basically you wear special shoes that are frictionless on a special surface that is also frictionless, and it's kind of a bowl shape, and you kind of run around in the bowl. Does that make sense?
I wonder if you would fall the fuck over.
It has a thing that it's a harness, and it also keeps you in place. But
that actually sounds fucking rad.
I've heard it's kind of weird. I mean, it is, for what it does, it's still cool.
But I mean, what the thing is.
That wouldn't work with the room tracking, though, because you're still in the same place.
Well, when we're... video games where you're climbing over shit and stuff. This is the kind of thing that they have to get around, because now basically the immersion is there. The graphics will improve over time, and that's whatever, the lighting and stuff. And then I guess the actual collision detection is, depending on the game and how much time they spend on it, can be better or worse. But the actual, like, physical feeling that you get when you walk around and
sense of presence is generally what they say.
A sense of actual weight to your step, a sense of like when you get hit with stuff. Like they have the vest and stuff, and I think you can wear stuff on your limbs if you really want an experience like with a shooter or something. You can feel where you get hit.
Yeah, separate peripherals and stuff.
Which is very cool, but the weight of you walking through a 3D plane, like in real life, it's really hard to get that. So I don't know if you're talking weighted boots that maybe.
That's so far down, dude.
I know. I'm just saying. Like that's the next step, because they're basically they got it.
You're so far ahead of where I'm thinking right now. It's $600 right now for the setup. That's still too expensive. This isn't going to start selling until it's down to like three or four. I would like to talk about my own experience with VR, though, for anyone who hasn't tried it. I have the PlayStation VR, which Vive and their stuff and like the Oculus are sort of up here, and the PlayStation's like down here. Tech spec wise, obviously there's like a huge chasm. But for the experience I've had with PlayStation VR, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you get eye fatigue?
I don't. I'm very fortunate in that I've never had problems with like motion sickness or anything. So I can play VR games. I've played them for like 3 or 4 hours straight. I'm fine. If anything, the longer I play it, the more my brain gets tricked into feeling like I'm in that.
Gotcha.
For instance, when I first bought the PlayStation VR, I played Job Simulator for like hours, and by the time I was done, the last one I did, I think, was like a convenience store game, and you're like in a 7-Eleven basically.
Sure.
I kept trying to lean on the counter and almost falling over because I'd being like, oh, I'm such an idiot. This counter is not here. There's nothing in front of me. And that's with the PlayStation 4. I can only imagine what it's like on the Vive with a high-end PC. That's gotta be nuts. So I'd highly recommend, if anyone out there is kind of like, I don't know about VR, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you to go out and get something right now because the games are limited.
Yeah.
But as we see these price drops continue and more people getting into it, it's worth checking out. It's a lot of fun. It's very different than a traditional video game. For instance, one of the PlayStation VR demos that came with it is called London Heist. The gameplay of it is very simple and not fun. If it were like a normal video game and it was the same level, it wouldn't be fun.
Off, yeah.
But considering it feels like you're doing a fucking heist, you're doing the planning, you can look at the gun in front of you, it's like... And the aiming in a first-person shooter when you actually have the gun and you can move it wherever you want, and you can be like ducking behind a thing and shooting a person, it feels so... It's doing what controls are trying to approximate, and you don't think about the fact that it's trying to approximate until you actually have it in your hand, and you go, this makes so much more sense when you're actually doing the thing you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's intuitive, it's tactile, it's just fun, and, like, you gotta reload the clips yourself.
Yeah.
It just feels satisfying. Clip. Shoot someone in the head. It's...
Did you play Super Hot?
Super Hot. Which one's that?
Super Hot's it's kind of a lo-fi, every action makes time pass.
No, I didn't play that.
They have the VR of that now, though.
I gotta get more games for it. Right now I have Job Simulator, the VR like demo stuff that includes that. I have the Batman VR, which is, again, one of the more fun. I just realized you haven't tried this since you've been back in town. After this, maybe if you want, you should try some of this stuff. It's very fun. But yeah, everyone keep an eye out, because I'm telling you, right now, I bet PlayStation and Xbox are kind of kicking themselves and saying, man, we really underpowered these systems this gen, which we didn't think was going to be a problem, but now that VR is starting to be a thing.
Also, by the way, the price point is exactly the same as the PlayStation VR, right?
PlayStation VR is still, the base is cheaper, but if you get the PlayStation VR and you need the camera, because it needs a camera to run,
Gotcha.
you can get a bundle with the camera in it, but that's more expensive. So the PlayStation VR plus the camera plus the Move controllers, it ends up being the same as the Vive at this point. So if
the Vive comes with all the things.
So if you already have like a gaming PC that can run VR, and I believe Steam has a test you can download and it'll tell you if you're VR ready or not, go for the Vive. I'm not hating on Sony. I'm really glad they're stepping their toe into this, and I'm really hoping when the PlayStation 5 comes around, they design it in part with VR in mind, and hope, you know. But right now, the best experience you're going to get is on PC, probably with the Vive. Oculus has been doing some bullshit since they got bought out by Facebook. It is sending data, by the way, about your play habits and everything back to Facebook. There's people who found that. They're locking a bunch of stuff behind in the Oculus store and treating it like a console and not a peripheral. So please don't buy the Oculus Rift. As unfortunate as it is, because the Oculus and their Kickstarter sort of started off this wave of VR, the business practices should not be rewarded, I should say.
Also, I hear very good things about the Vive.
Yeah.
So,
I think
there's a lot of stuff, by the way. There's tons of indie games that do stuff on Steam. There's a lot more games for the Vive than I imagine there are for the Sony.
Yes, there are. As far as Sony, Fruit Ninja's kind of fun. Just because it's... Oh, the Surgeon Simulator.
I hear that's good.
That's a lot of fun for the VR. That one is... You played the original Surgeon Simulator, right? In the VR, it's different because you're using, this. It's easier and harder. They changed the gameplay enough where it's like...
Interesting.
It's fun, but in a different way. Plus, you get to hit people in the head with hammers and their eyeballs pop out, and that's always good. So, I don't know. You have anything? You haven't ever played a VR game, so you have no reason to be in this episode. Go buy a Vive if you can. It's a lot of fun. Plus, Fallout VR is coming out, and Skyrim VR. Hint, hint. Kenneth, what? And
not for Fallout though.
well, if I get it now, the Vive's cheaper. Maybe
Fair enough.
when I build the gaming PC, we'll see. Is this real life?
I don't know. I still stub my toe. Must be real.